Today is Saturday, March 17th, and this is a letter to my unborn son. You are part of me, of flesh and spirit. And in this world, our body and our armor are only as strong or weak as we grow it, not as it is created. However, our mind and our spirit will never be disconnected unless to our own accord. Giveth tragedy, our communication may be told. But the more we reach for that strong armor, we will be connected, and you will be prepared in this world to die to the flesh, attached to less power and rest, blessed to reach into this peace of mind. We are to help them find Athena. We are not to fear life in order to help them see Aries. Their flesh is weak. Where we have stood tall, the enemy's mind has been trained to crawl. This meeting place is our solace. Indulge the calm of their crawl, knowing these agents will not die belly up. It's been a while since I felt like sharing anything or felt like I was secure enough in my feeling to share what's inside, you know. I never want to force things. I never want to play on falsehoods. But I want impact, and I'm looking for empath. You know, I'm looking for feeling. That's where my focus comes from. That's where my drive comes from. And my writing today is about flesh and spirit, and dying to your flesh and tapping into your higher spirit. No matter what that is, no matter what that looks like, it's a higher power, and it's inside you. We all have power inside of ourselves, but we don't unlock it. We don't know how to unlock it. We know it's in there. Sometimes we feel it. Sometimes it'll flirt with us a little bit to let us know that it's there. But when we stop that, when I close my mind off, or when I think negatively, you know, you hear the saying, think negative, you'll attract negative. Think positive, you'll attract positive. That's true, you know. But when I tap into my own spirit and I keep my own spirit high, and I'm high-minded, and I'm high-spirited, and I'm just high-powered and outgoing, this is what fills me up, you know. There's some awkward moments in being quiet, you know, but I like to reflect too. I like to think and reflect. But so much time has been spent lately. So many lives are being lost every day. There's been so much hurt since the last time I've made a video that I just wanted to be keeping it real, you know. And I've been having to ask myself, what's real anymore? Do we even know what real is? Do people even recognize what real is anymore? Do they even care? Youngsters don't care. The youngsters do not care, and they're not listening. They're paying attention to who's not listening to them, but they're communicating in different ways. And as grown folks, we might not have our ears on to what these youngsters are telling us, but they're showing us through their actions, and it's a powerful thing, man. I'm for it. As far as speaking out, speaking your mind, being free, I'm against it when it comes to following the leader and doing what's politically correct and doing the right thing, You know, I think if you're high-minded, if you're thinking up, if you have your spirit tapped into what's up, you're not going to fail. You're not going to have any weak impact. You know, you're going to have real impact. It's not going to be fake as long as you're not faking yourself. You know, and that's when we can keep our mouths closed. That's when we can keep our mouths shut. When our mind is fully open and we're aware, we can keep our mouths closed, and people will know. People will know exactly what we're thinking and what we're feeling just by our presence being in that place at that time and being silent. You know, too many people open their mouth and want to have an opinion, and it drabs down everything. It waters down everything with everybody's opinions and No, be quiet and watch. And you can see and you can feel where things are coming from. You know, we might not be able to communicate one day. One day we might not have this. You know, we might have to go back to old writing letters. You know, it's gotten real easy to us. One day we might not be able to communicate with one another as easily. You know, then when we're alone and it's dark, are we going to have to tap into that spirit inside of ourselves and be like, you know what, it's all right, I know what to do, or I'm not afraid, you know, because there's going to be a time, if that happens, when we can't communicate, it's going to be dark. We're going to be dark, we're going to be in the dark, stuck. And what then? You know, you have to have a plan for then, and you have to build your armor. Every day that you're given breath, you should be building your armor. You're given breath every day, work on that armor, because you're going to need it when the devil attacks. When the world attacks, you're going to want that armor. You're going to wish you'd worked on it. And that's how you're going to stay connected, by working on that higher self, working on that inner self, working on that higher thinking, that higher learning, working on opening up your mind into what's really happening behind the scenes and not just what we see and what we think we see. You know, you're going to have to work on that higher thinking to feel connected, to feel together, to feel a part of something. So you're not on an island by yourself, feeling alone, and the hurt creeps in. You have to take it out on everybody else. You know, think high, think up, so that you're not alone, so that you can feel tapped into a higher source of power, so that you're never alone, so you're not afraid to stand alone. Attached to less, power and rest. You know, you're in the world, and I'm preparing myself to die to my flesh. You've heard it before. You got to die to the flesh, because things will impact you. It's impactful. You know, and that's what we have to help. We got to help each other, because it's like, with everybody's ears closed off and minds closed off, and this fake glass, we're behind this fake glass, we don't know what's really happening in the world, and we're not awake ourselves to know what's happening in the world. That's where Athena will come in. That's where Ares will come in. And you people that know mythology know that Athena is the god of war. Ares is the god of war. And it's only necessary at certain times. Their presence is only necessary at certain times, but they're around a lot today. They're going to be around a lot more, because people are thinking with hate, and they're not thinking with their heart, and they're not thinking open. It's closed off, and the world is destroying people left and right. The world is just destroying people left and right. I'm old enough to have seen it. I'm old enough to see young, old, middle, you know, innocent, guilty people hurt, die. You know, like that. Nothing. Life can be snuffed out like nothing. Our last breath is nothing. So how's it going to be when you take that last breath? What's that last breath going to be like? Are you going to have a conscious thought? Or are you going to have a weak thought that closes you off? Are you going to have a cowardly thought that closes you off? Or are you going to be thinking up when you take that last breath? I'm not here to be afraid of none of that. I'm not afraid to take my last breath. Because I know that my flesh is weak. I know that I'm weak. I know that my flesh is weak. And only until my spirit is unlocked will I be strong, and will I live forever. Will I not die? You know, there's a lot of people that talk about that. But if you're ready to die to your flesh, I think you're ready to live forever. You know, so tap into that. Believe in that. Take that with you instead of your friends. You know, think about that when you're on your phone searching for whatever you're searching for. You know, our enemies in this world, the devil has trained everybody to crawl. Everybody wants to slither along and just move along like in the slime. You know, you hear the word slime a lot now. We're just a bunch of sludge and slime inside of the swamp. You know, what part of the swamp are we? What part of the swamp are we in? You know, the world teaches us to crawl and to follow and to beg and to hunch over and to ask, you know. If you're a man and you're grown and you're confident in yourself and you're righteous and you have some righteous thinking behind you, what are you afraid of standing up for? If you're a man, what are you afraid for? If we know that our enemy is crawling, why not sneak up behind him? Why are we not sneaking up behind everything that we can see that's sucking us down? Why haven't we snuck up behind it yet? Stood tall over it yet? Proclaimed victory over it yet? Why don't we feel like we're winning? You know, we got to grow each other because we're not tapped into the right source. We're not tapped into the right plug, man. We don't have the right power source, man. And that's where the enemy creeps in behind us. If we're standing up, the enemy will creep in behind us and wipe us off our feet. And then there we go, carried away with the slime. Nah, man, stand up so you can see everything coming, man. Find solace in knowing that your enemy is crawling. That's a peaceful thought, to know that the enemy is simple. The enemy is the same all the time. He does the same thing all the time. Just know that if you can last, if you can find your spot behind that enemy, away from that enemy, out of sight of that enemy, above that enemy, you're going to watch that enemy die. You're going to watch that enemy perish. You're going to watch that enemy cease to distract you anymore. And that's what we need to take charge of, I feel like. That's what we need to take hold of, is a conscious thought. Be aware if something's different. Even if something's different than you, be aware. It might have something for you. You know, and these days are too short. Time is too short and too precious these days to be afraid and to be so far apart. If we gotta feel together and be connected, then we gotta start thinking up and thinking together and starting to chip away at this world, starting to pull pieces away at this world. Chop the head off of that snake. You can't kill a snake by chopping off the tail. Chop the head off of that snake and grow. Start standing up, thinking up, being less afraid. Your power, you have power in your spirit, which moves your flesh, which is the same. We have the same flesh. So we're already tapped into that higher consciousness. Go with that. Lead that spirit, because you're part of me. We will never be separated. There's nothing the world can separate through us, because this is not our place. It's not our place in the world. But when that spirit is granted to us and we're revealed to that other side, that's what we're preparing for. And that's what you better be ready for. Because that is not a game. We're playing for keeps behind those curtains. Though behind those curtains we play for keeps. And you're a part of me, so believe that.